Okay, I'm here with the man who beat Agy Sadari on Friday night to become the new Cage Warriors lightweight champion, Joe McColgan. How does that sound?
Oh, sounds really good. Although it hasn't sunken in yet.
No.
Everyone keeps asking me, "Oh, how does it feel?" Like I'm like you've worked so hard for this, and it's the same answer. It literally hasn't sunken in yet. It just feels like I finished another fight. Um, hopefully when things settle down and work a wee bit, I can actually have time to reflect and enjoy it and maybe it'll sink in then. But it's it's no difference for me. Like it's just kind of apart from I have to carry a boy around and I have to force it as well because I get a wee bit embarrassed about it. Like when we were walking through the airport on the way home, like my coach was like, "Right, you have to wear this belt," and I was like, "No, fuck." So they actually I put it on their shoulders and they walked through with it. They have no problem doing it, but I was
Yeah.
like,
All right.
I'm not in the bag then. People asking me and stuff.
Be honest though, since Friday night, have you let it out your sight yet?
Yeah, I left it outside last night by accident
You left it outside.
because I was because I like it's under like a carport type thing, and I was going out somewhere and I'd taken my training gear out and I had my this in the bag, so my training gear and this were lying outside.
Yeah.
So thankfully nobody stole it.
So still, obviously, by the sounds of it, it's still getting used to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's been a
Pretty
few
much.
days. It's been a few days since the fight now. How's the body holding up? All feeling good?
Yeah, I'm fine. I didn't really take any damage. I inflicted damage on myself by kicking him. But that's about it. So my foot's like black, my left foot, and my shins are filled with fluid. Whenever I fought Kieran Lister, sorry, when I fought Kieran Lister back in December, I threw a body kick that connected with his elbow, and I had this like kind of hematoma thing in my shin. It's like a big lump, and it basically is solidified. And whatever way I kicked Aggie, it just kind of I must have just bursted or something because like the bump isn't there anymore, but it's just filled with fluid all around my shin. Um, there was one point actually in the fight I remember kicking him. I think it was in the second round, and it must have connected with his elbow on my foot, and I thought, "Fuck, that's so sore." And then I was like, "Break it." And I was like, and then I started kicking him even more, and I was like, I think I'm just determined to like just go through some pain here or something in this. It's a pretty surreal experience.
So obviously, there's been the comparisons between yourself and the last Irishman to hold that belt. How do you feel about that? Because obviously, you're a very different personality to him. And how do you react when you see people say things like that?
Well, I actually am. I know people say that about the whole McGregor thing, just because he was the only person from Ireland to hold this belt. Um, but like I don't see there's any comparison between me and McGregor. McGregor is just like it's because I he's probably one of my favorite fighters, so I don't even like I'm like there's no way I'm even comparable to him.
Yeah,
He's unbelievable. He got the title at a different time from
yeah.
me, and it was just different circumstances. My road has been a little bumpier than his road to get that title, and obviously he was a different age, but it's just that like to even be like mentioned in the same breath as him is a massive honor. Because whenever he's in the cage, he is one of the, if not the best fighter in the world. So you can't complain about
So now it's appropriate how the belt's gone from really the face of SBG to the SBG Hunter.
that. Do you know what? I don't think I'm ever going to be able to shift that name. I have tried very hard, like getting it removed from Sheerdog, from
Yeah.
Topology, but it always creeps back up again.
When
And
did it come from? Did it come from the Queely fight?
no, I basically I fought a guy called Levi Kehoe, and he was one of the wrestling coaches down in
Ah,
SBG, the amateur. So I beat him, and then straight after that, I fought his teammate James Heelan. I was actually talking to James Heelan the other day. He lives
okay.
out in Thai. He's like a really good Thai fighter now out in Thailand. And I beat him, and it was after that because it was just the whole back to back thing. And I was just like, I'm the SPG Hunter, and Ireland, like the MMA scene in Ireland was a bit smaller back then. It was kind of like SBG, although SBG is the main club now. It was just a single club.
Yeah.
It wasn't a franchise, so it was kind of like me versus them, and there was a set amount of fighters there, so it was quite funny back then. But now it's kind of like diluted out. There's loads of SBG fighters, like,
Yeah.
and all the originals from SBG I get
Yeah.
on really well with. So it's like it's quite funny. I remember actually talking to one of them before, and he was like, some of the new guys were getting like really offended by it all, especially after the Quilly fight, and they were just laughing about it, thinking like this is the most ridiculous thing. That all these new guys who haven't even been in the club for that long are getting so annoyed because someone's calling themselves the SBG Hunter. But sure.
What if you're going to be the
Well,
SBG?
I'll only bring it back. I'll bring it back out if I was fighting an SBG guy, but I don't think that'll happen.
Well, if you're going to be the SBG Hunter now, you've got Ireland. You obviously got Manchester. You've got one up in the northeast, I think, as well. So yeah, that's like you've got a few hundred guys to take on there.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually in SBG Manchester
Yeah.
last year. Did a bit of training when Alex Endon was up. Good bunch of guys there. Like, I don't hold any grudges against anyone, or I don't have any malice towards anyone. It's all just like, it's all a bit of fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got lots to pick from.
See, now obviously you've got the belt. You can probably put in a word with Tapology, right?
Yeah, I might have to. I might actually change the photo as well, because the photo they've got up was bloody horrendous. There isn't that many good photos of me, but I'll maybe put up like Dolly Clue, who is the photographer for Cage Warriors, got some unbelievable photos.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those. Yeah.
Yeah, as well as the Raptors guys, like just unbelievable how like you get to fight in this promotion and you get to have like some of the best experiences ever. But not only that, you get these unreal photographers capturing those moments for free. Like, it's just like, here's a bonus for you. Here, like these photos that you'll have for the rest of your life, and they're just unbelievable.
So let's talk a bit about your camp and your preparation for the fight. And what did you see from Agy Sadari that you thought you could exploit?
I didn't really watch too much of him. I After the Mason Jones fight, I kind of just changed everything a wee bit. Like, not in my preparation. Like, I'm always like prepared, but well, it was more that I just thought too much about things that were outside of my control, and like I wasn't prepared going into that fight mentally or physically, and I thought, see, after this, like, I'll never go through that again. I'll only fight when I'm fully prepared, when I've had a full camp. And in my head, whenever I'm feeling confident, whenever I'm feeling prepared, it doesn't matter who I'm fighting, I'll go out there and I'll beat anybody, and I mean that. There's not a man I'm afraid of, especially, and there's not a man that I don't think I can beat whenever I'm fully prepared. And I've proven that so far. Like, I explained this before the Kieran Lister fight when I was doing interviews. I explained this again before the Agy fight. And both times I've gone out and I've kind of proven it. I've given evidence of my evolution in this game, and I think everybody has to go through that at some stage on their career or their journey through MMA, and I've just gone through it at the point in which I'm reaching the prime of my physical capabilities. So I am, at this point, I'm the most dangerous I've ever been, and like, I feel like I shown that in my last two fights, in particular against Agy, because I actually didn't watch Agy. That was probably one of my easiest fights.
Yeah.
And I just because I put it on him, and I focus on my style, and I don't give him a chance to even get into the fight, and I can do that to anybody. Why not? I actually went back over and looked at his previous fights because I hadn't done much research on him, just to kind of reassure myself that he was actually legitimately good. And he's a beast. Like, I watched his, I went through his Instagram, watched it. He is an absolute beast, a champion in his own right. And, that kind of reassured me. But I just thought it was quite funny that, I went through him. I did so well against him that I kind of thought maybe he wasn't like as good as what everyone else was making him out to be, but he certainly was. He certainly is.
Yeah.
He was just better.
Was there a specific moment in the fight when you kind of realized the pressure was getting to him and you're like, right, I've got this?
Yeah, within the first minute when he shot.
Yeah.
Because he considers himself a striker, and you can hear my coaches were just like, he's already shooting because we kind of thought that, he's going to shoot at some stage. Like if we're doing what if I'm doing what I can do, if things are going our way, he's going to start shooting. But I didn't expect him to shoot that quickly. I think I hit him a real like hard overhand right in the first like 30
Yeah.
seconds, and I think he was a wee bit taken back by that. And he's just like, right, I need to get under this guy here and put him on the mat. And that's when I'm at my best, when I have guys shooting into me, and I'm just breaking off the cage and striking, rinsing, repeating. And that was it. Like I didn't know I had him, because anything can happen in this sport. I could have got KO'd minutes, like in seconds before I put the choke on, and you like that would just be another MMA fight. So I never really thought I had it in the bag. I was always switched on the whole time. Another lesson that I picked up from the Medi fight, because I was doing the same thing to Medi. I felt like I was controlling him everywhere. And then I actually went out in the third round and thought, there's not a thing he can do to me here. I have this beaten easily. And then boom, I'm nearly out. And he nearly finished me. So like, I mean, I'm picking up lessons the whole way through, like, through all these different fights. And again, just in reference to the fact that that's kind of shaped me into to be the most dangerous fighter that I am at the moment.
You mentioned the grappling a little bit there, and you mentioned the finish. Talk me through that finish, because I'm not sure I've ever seen anything quite like that in MMA.
Oh, really? Oh, well, I mean,
like from the position to get the guillotine from that position.
Yeah. So Jesus, it's heavy. So basically, whenever because he shot in a lot and he left his neck open a lot, but I didn't want to. A lot of people make the mistake of snatching the neck and going for the guillotine, but they're not defending the takedown, and then they're on their back.
Yeah,
I never do that. I'm always about the position first. And in this particular instance, he shot in so deep that I thought, I've got this neck. So I took the risk. And instead of like doing a high elbow guillotine, which it tires my arms a bit, and my arms were getting a wee bit tired, I actually landed really far around, and I was just able to push up. So I think it's called like a thrust guillotine.
yeah.
And like, I mean, that's free of charge. Like I just yanked that up. I like almost like I could have suplexed him. I had that much leverage on his neck, and it was really, really tight. The only thing that could have happened is whenever he went to the ground, he kept rolling and gator rolled me, and then I would have lost position there. But I felt like I had a good base, and I mean, it was like you could see him tapping with one hand and then two hands. It was like really, really tight.
Yeah.
And I was thinking I could have TKO'd him in the second round if I was just a bit more, a wee bit more careful with my shots, and a bit more accurate, which annoyed me. And then I could have dorsed him as well when we went to the ground. Like I had a locked in dorse, but I would have had to initiate a roll to get the finish on that, and I didn't want to risk being on bottom side. But I'm really happy with how it ended.
Yeah.
Even like I was thinking about it, like during the fight, I was like, maybe I could get like a body shot KO. So I started working the body a wee bit, but I'm still like happy. Like I'm actually probably the most happy with the finish. I thought it was just I thought it was really good, especially how we finished. And then I walked right over to my corner, who were celebrating, and everything. Just, like very rarely in MMA do you look back at a fight and you feel happy with it, and I feel really happy with it. Like everything from the walkout, the performance, the celebrations after the interview. I just feel like that was a good job. So I'm giving myself credit for this one instead of being hard on myself.
So you mentioned the celebration there. Talk to me about what's that feeling like immediately after you've got the win and you go over to your coaches, because you could see the emotion with you guys then.
Just unbelievable. Like, I'm almost at that thing, like just happier, not happier for them, but like I'm just as happy for me as I am for them. And then you got the relief of like all this pressures now off your shoulders, and you're thinking, fuck, I'm gonna get the belt here. Like I couldn't believe it. It was just probably like that. Like I don't even have words to fully articulate how good of a feeling that all was. It was just unbelievable. Like honestly unbelievable. I wish I could just be in that moment again every day.
You mentioned obviously being happy for your coaches. We saw Paul Hughes in the corner with Ian Garry the night after.
Yeah.
Is Ian Garry going to be a part of the team now? What's going on there?
Ian, no. So I think that Paul just stepped in at the last minute because
Yeah.
the fight was in danger of being pulled.
All right.
Because he didn't have a corner. I don't think. I think Graham would have been. Uh, I don't know what it was. I think there's something in the rules that you have to have a legitimate corner,
All right.
so the fight wouldn't have been able to go ahead. So Paul stepped up. And was in the corner for Ian, but I don't think Ian's joining our club. I don't actually know. I don't know what the crack is at the end. And from a personal point of view, I would obviously I love the guy. Ian's so dead on. Such a character, and Chris Fields and all those boys are absolute legends. And they're an unreal team together. You can see how much they brought him on. So like I would love for them to get like to kind of sit down and talk it out, but I don't really know the background to it, so I don't know anything about it. So I don't know. But I'm hoping that they get it resolved, but I don't know if it can be resolved but so I don't really know. Trying to stay out of it as well.
All right. Just finally, you're now the Cage Warriors champion. Obviously, there's a pretty common pathway for Cage Warriors champions in the past. Do you see that as a pathway for you?
To the UFC?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's next. Sometimes whenever you have guys winning the belt, they've had fights, and then it's been a vacant title, and like I don't think there's ever been an instance where we've had a fighter beaten a defending champion. I don't think has there ever been a champion who's defended, so they won the belt, defended it, and then lost. I think everyone who's defended it has kind of gone off to the UFC. So the fact that I was able to take out the current defending champion is a bit of I think that shows the level, especially in particular the way I took him out. Do you know what? In fact, I've proven my level so many times in my career, even from my second fight. I've been saying like I'm UFC ready, and I probably was all those years ago, but I'm more ready than I am now. So if the call came, that would be absolutely amazing. I don't know if it will. I just don't know. And do you know what? I'm not even going to focus on it because it's once again it's something that's outside of my control.
Yeah.
So I'll just let the boss man Graham tell me what's next, and then we'll take it from there.
All right. So just finally, let us know where people can keep up with you and shout out any sponsors you've got if you want to.
Yeah, just obviously a massive thanks to all my coaches, Pat, Shando, Adam, Donner, and my teammates are, without them I wouldn't be fighting at this level. And the sponsors, Apex Fightwear and Slim's Kitchen, Garry from Slim's, they do my whole meal plans for the past 3 years, managing a job and managing a full-time job and full-time training is next to impossible. But Garry and the meal plans that he gives me through Slim's Kitchen, it just makes things a hell of a lot easier, a hell of a lot easier. So massive thanks to all those guys. And yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I post once every 6 months, so yeah, you can keep up to date.
Awesome. I want to thank you for the time today. Have you still got the belt there? Hold up the belt one last time. There we go.
Yes.
Cage Warriors lightweight champion Joe McColgan. Thanks for the time today, my friend.
Unreal. Thanks, Stephen. Thank you, mate. Cheers.